Yes, hello, people, and welcome to episode 7 of the 2025-26 season here with the European pod on the NC network with myself, Double D. Coach in the building. What's going on, brother? You good?
Yeah. It's been I've been enjoying the international break actually for a change. It's been a lot of entertaining games, so to be keeping the football side active. So yeah, man. What are you?
Yeah, we could possibly, time pending, we might be able to get into that right at the end because there's been a madness with, well, some teams have still got a chance through the playoffs, but a certain African country that bantered us about not being in the African nations have not qualified for the World Cup. But we'll see, time permitting. They may be spared, yeah, depending on the clock.
Maybe.
We'll see what's going on. I've been cooking. I've been putting subliminals on statuses and whatnot, and they've been biting. Someone who said something, but then deleted it before I was able to read it. So I know there would have been some vitriol in there. But it is what it is. Now, obviously, because it was the international break, as coach has just spoken about, we didn't do it last week. We did it this week intentionally, so it's closer, obviously, to the weekend fixtures. I'll be getting some predictions from coach as well, because this weekend, for instance, it's the Milan derby. Milan and Inter, and there's been some interesting going on in Serie A. But we're going to start in the Bundesliga because I've been sitting here and I've been asking coach, because certain times when I ask him certain questions on the Bundesliga, because he said from the outset that Bayern are going to win it, I didn't disagree with him. He's not wanting to answer. So I created one, though it seemed unlikely, and I asked, could they possibly win all their league games? It was highly unlikely, but I just thought I'll put it out there anyway because of how they were going on. And big teams, whether it be Leverkusen, Dortmund, even when they've made changes, they've rolled these teams over, right?
Mm-hmm.
But just before the international break, it took a 92nd minute goal from Harry Kane to get a 2-2 draw against Union, who no one expected to give them that many problems. But they actually extended their lead because Leipzig were beaten 3-1 by Hoffenheim, and Dortmund, a last-minute goal in that game as well. A lot of late business in Serie A. Hamburg got a late equaliser against Dortmund as well, so they actually extended their lead by a point, though they drew 2-2. But it annoys me when I see it because I know the same type of chances he was either not creating or scoring. But Luis, before we even talk about the late goal by Kane, Luis Díaz's goal, bro, was insane.
Yeah. It was quality. It was I mean, in terms of how the goal came about, he's always had that. He's always shown that sort of fire, that aggressiveness going forward. He's relentless, but the quality was the quality that you initially saw at Liverpool. Was the quality that you saw at Porto before he joined Liverpool. Like, he's really good. He's obviously really, really good, and the goal was ridiculous. And it's contender for goal of the season. It's contender for a Pushcast award. People will obviously pick up for goals, but that was genuinely ridiculous quality. The angle to finish was ridiculous in the first place. The determination to win the ball.
That's what I'm saying. The guy on the industry, the way to win it, then the touch to even think, and it wasn't even like he took another touch and then beat the man.
He's good. Like, he's really good. And sorry, I'm gonna have to get up here because my child thinks he can do whatever.
Live pods. This is what happens.
That's what happens, man. We're supposed to be somewhere else today, but people like to shake the old man over here. But yeah, no, look, he's incredible. He's got incredible quality. I remember when he joined you guys, I told you that I was scared because I was a fan of his. He was native United as well, not as hard as Liverpool, but he was native United. And I was like, I would really like him because I do watch Portuguese League a little bit. And he's one of the talents that I noticed over there. So I was hoping that he would be on the player. So when he was to Liverpool, I was excited because this is the kind of thing that he can do. And for anyone, obviously, if you've seen him in the international break as well, goal that he created with the international break as well, I can't remember if it's this one or previous international break. But anyway, whatever the situation was, his cross in that game as well was ridiculous quality. He's a good player, man. He's a good player. So A big well done to him. A big well done to him.
Yeah.
Big well done to him. We might start calling this the
Yeah, so
yeah.
But this is being a Liverpool fan is frustrating though, because Díaz, we know about his dribbling ability. We know when he's on it, we know how well he can press as well, right?
Mm.
So sometimes some of his running was needless and he wasn't actually protecting the fullbacks. He was just running around in the same 10 to 15 yard space, waiting to see if the ball come to him so he can catch the opposition on the break. But anyway, before I turn this into a Liverpool therapy session, I'll leave that there. But he's enjoying his football clearly. He's had some other really good finishes as well. And I think he'll be integral. Him and Elise, if Kane does actually have a spell of a couple games, which for him would be a drought, the way how relentless he's been in the Bundesliga, it's going to be Díaz's brilliance that is going to possibly carry them through, especially we spoke before the break about obviously him scoring the 2 goals against PSG and then being sent off, but he's going to be integral. And I know how good he is, but I actually did not expect him to start this well, because I've known some of the diabolical misses he's had for Liverpool. Even in this game, after that brilliant goal, he had another chance later on that was easier than the goal that he put well wide. And that's what us as Liverpool fans have come accustomed to. No one's going to score with all their chances, but there were some big chances that he missed for us, bro. That
he also had moments of brilliance for you guys. This is football, isn't it? This is football. It is what it is, man. This is what football is. And the issue is, I think it's hard to rate players these days because football is so systematic that if they fit the system a certain way or a brand of football in the country a certain way, then they look different. So obviously in the Bundesliga, you can have a lot more space because it's a lot more open. Premier League is open, by the way. I don't like people that sort of try and allude to say that Premier League is a lot more defensively tougher and stuff. We see shocking defending here. We see open defending here. But players, especially someone that's not a pure striker, is going to score some chances and miss some chances. And it is what it is. But strikers miss chances as well. So it is what it is, man. But we all know he's a really good player.
I know that you I know how much you like to rip defending and how much it annoys you. It will annoy you being a coach. It will annoy you more than it will annoy me. But considering you're so close to getting a big win over Bayern Munich, Union's marking on that Harry Kane header was absolutely diabolical. You've left him, of all people in that league, the ball's come in, you've left him all alone. The defender that was next to him is not even looking at Kane when the ball's being played into the box.
Yeah. So, with situations like that, I always try and look and say, is Harry Kane maybe doing like him? Someone like him, good movement, tough to follow in a tight area. He didn't have to move. Lift the finger. That's another day in the park for him. What the hell are you doing? In a game like that, in a situation that where you're 2-1 up against the Giants, where you know that they're going to go to him to get the goals, brother, put 2 men on him, 3 men on him. Tell your striker to get back, help along the defense. It was what would I call it? That was Jean-Alain Boumsong defending. That's what I'd call it.
From Newcastle days, because at Auxerre he was on stuff at Auxerre. Him and Mexes were on stuff at Auxerre.
Yeah, Auxerre he was good. Yeah, but then Mexes is known more for his overhead kicks than he's defending, so that's another discussion for another day. But yeah, if you want to put it in that situation, yes, Newcastle Boomsong. Because Newcastle Boomsong, the less said the better. But yeah, that defending I think that's what I call it now. I want to christen it by calling the names of defenders that I thought were just terrible in the space of time, where I was just like, yeah, you're a horror show. Or if it's goalkeeping, I'll call you Taibi. We'll go along those lines. But yeah, horror defending. But as far as I'm concerned, it means my favorite team in Germany remains unbeaten, so couldn't care less.
Leverkusen beat Heidenheim 6-0. I don't know what the keeper was doing on the third goal. Mazar got a brace. He could have had a hat trick, to be honest, because he had another good chance afterwards that he put wide. But big win for Leverkusen. I mentioned earlier, obviously, talking in the fact that Bayern actually extended their lead by a point that Dortmund drew with Hamburg. Last minute equaliser for Hamburg, a header. Carney Chukwuemeka scored a good goal to give Dortmund the lead, and that he settled, right? And I mentioned to Gladbach because obviously I've been pamming them when they've been losing, but they beat Cologne 3-1 at home. I don't know what the hell the goalkeeper was doing on the third goal. So hold tight, Gladbach was looking peak for them. It still is not. One win doesn't solve everything, but at least it's a win because I've said we're going to closely be monitoring
Taibi
goalkeeping.
Taibi goalkeeping. Told you. See, we're there already. We're on the path. We're on the right path.
That might end up being the name of the pod. Taibi settings or something like that. Right. Let's go to match day 11 in Serie A, where my Inter are back at the top of the table on goal difference because Napoli were beaten 2-0 by Bologna. Great second half display by Bologna. John Lucchini getting the second goal. And he actually had a chance early on in that game as well. Good near post finish by Liga for the first goal as well, with the outside of each foot as well. But Napoli, obviously that draw in the Champions League as well with Frankfurt, who've been conceding a lot of goals. They've been a bit of a slump recently. We all know that De Laurentiis can be awkward. Do you think if they continue to have this inconsistent run that Conte, because we know how Conte in the past, people have said that he likes to throw his toys out of the pram, etc. Could there be a few problems there?
Oh, sorry, I'm just muting myself for a second for some reason. There could be problems, but I think the first thing he needs to do, just as much as everybody else, is breathe. They're behind the goal difference, right? Well, Inter are on top of goal difference. The gap's not big at all. Breathe. Everybody calm down. Think about Conte. So I spoke about this. I think was it last season we spoke about this when I said like his rants and stuff, all the emotion that he shows is just because he wants his players and the club to be the best they can be. It's not about ridiculous expectations. It's not about you must spend 200 to 300 million every summer. It's about wanting to win more than anything. That's his drive. You see that passion as soon as he steps on the pitch on the touchline. He's got that energy about him. So that's the same situation at Inter Milan. At Napoli. I think sometimes you have to just go back to the drawing board and just be like, all right, cool. We've dropped a few points in all comps. Let's calm it down. Let's breathe. We'll see how good we are for a reason. Go to international break, which they've done. People like Scott McTominay doing what he did with Scotland. You know, Hoyland scoring against Scotland as well before he got sent packing. You know, stuff like that. You just need to be like, okay, we're cool, and we move on. So it's a bad loss. It's a bad loss. But this is me saying this. Sometimes, okay, we cut it out. We go back to the next game, but they need to bounce back. They need to bounce back quick.
Yeah. We'll check up. We'll be getting a couple of predictions from you at the end across obviously the leagues that we've covered. So we'll be checking in to see what you think their score will be this weekend. But Inter dealt with Lazio 2-0. Nice goal by Lautaro Martinez for the first goal, and then Bonnie, good team move for the second goal, and then DeMarco laid it on for Bonnie for 2-0. And Inter have had a couple of bad results this season, but they've bounced back and been more consistent recently, and it looks like those early doors that it's going to be a lot of them and Napoli switching places as it goes on. Then obviously you've got the likes of Milan, obviously up there too. They had a draw that we'll talk about shortly, but Christian Keith, who's come in and he's not tried to change too much from what Simone Inzaghi was doing, and I think Inter will continue to improve as it goes on. Champions League, they've been fine. It's like Inzaghi's still in charge there, but he who knows about the heritage at the club, he's got the Inter DNA. Obviously, having played there for so long when he was a player. Back in the day, it was one of the better defenders in Europe actually that could cover up left back and centre half as well. But yeah, they're improving. There's been the only caveat to all that is there's been talk, though it's been denied. There's been talk that things have not been 100% with him and Lautaro Martinez.
So what you said there, I feel like when we speak on this thing, we're speaking facts. What we said when he first came in was you don't need to change too much. Inter, we know what they are historically with formations. We know what they are. Like what I say historically. I say after Mourinho, we know what they are with formations. We know what they are with their squads and their approaches to games. And look, they got into the Champions League final last. Oh, yeah, they got Champions League final last year. PSG beat them. They got whooped, but they got there. So yeah, so you don't need to overdo it. Basically, sometimes you need to just calm it down and figure it out. And I think that's what he's doing correctly. Now, Lautaro Martinez. I'll ask you the question. You're obviously an Inter fan. What is your thoughts on his time in terms of his goal return season by season, his leadership qualities, or lack of, if you feel like he's not a great captain, that's wherever you lead down. And overall, is he enough of a leading forward to be like the man at Inter? Genuine questions.
He's had some when they first bought him, I thought it was one of the ones where maybe he'd been brought in a little too early. But I must say, though he's had some very frustrating times where there's been some really bad misses. But anyone, a striker, you put yourself in position, and he's the type of striker that can make chances for himself as well. Obviously, you're going to have times when you miss chances. Though he's a wide forward, we were just talking about Luis Díaz when we were doing the Bundesliga. But I think that he's there in the quality bracket, but I'm not sure he will or has ever been necessarily in the world-class bracket, though he has had a world-class season where some felt he could have been higher in the Ballon d'Or ranking. But I'm a fan. Captain, I don't know necessarily whether he should be captain or not when you've got the likes of Azerbi, etc. at the club. Even Sommer, the goalkeeper, for me could be a candidate for it as well. But when this season in particular, though, I must say, when he's been on the bench, because of the way Thuram's been flying, Bonnie settled in okay since coming from Parma. They've not looked out of place when he hasn't played. And as the season goes on, if that continues, he could find himself being on the bench a little bit more. But yeah, I like him. I'm not his biggest fan, but he's a good player. He's a good player. And even this goal here against Lazio was a really good finish, and he has got that brilliance in him. When he's in full flow, he can be quite streaky. When he's in full flow, one of the best in Europe. But it's about them times he needs to limit those inconsistent periods that he has. But I don't know if he'll I think, how old is he now? Is he 26 now or 27? I think he's 27 now. I'm sure he's 27 now, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure he will ever get to there or has ever been there. But no, he's a very good player still, though. But yeah, it can be savagely inconsistent. It's frustrating sometimes. There's some games when you want him to step up and do something and it doesn't come. But this is going to be interesting because if he can pick up and flow and go on form, I think Inter will get Kivu a title in his first season. They were saying Kivu's only won the league with Inzaghi's team, but it is what it is. If he wins it, he wins it.
That's all that matters. I mean, I guess that's what people said about obviously when you guys won the league with
Slot saying he won it. Yeah,
well, whether it's Klopp's team, whether it's Hodgson's team, what's his name? Rafa Benitez's team, doesn't matter. He's won the league. There you go. So doesn't matter who wins it as long as they win it. But yeah, he's it's good that he obviously finished that part of the season going to the international break, finished on the table. That's a good way to come back and be like, I'm more games.
Yeah. So Napoli, because of that defeat, actually are in fourth now. Roma level on points with Inter after winning 2-0 at home against Udinese. So Roma level on points at Inter at the top. And then Milan are in third because Milan were held to a two. Well, I say held. Milan drew 2-2 with Parma. Suzuki, unfortunately, has picked up an injury for Parma as well. So they're trying to get in. The name's left me. They're getting in the keeper, but Guaita. They're getting that Crystal Palace's old goalkeeper. I didn't even know he left Palace. I just stopped seeing him for a bit. Dean Henderson took over. I don't know what problems were behind the scenes there. I never did actually look into it, but Vicente Guaita will be joining Parma to while Suzuki's out. I think it could be as many as 3 months that he's out for. But Milan, Salamanca's, when they first bought him, a lot was being said about him, but him and Pulisic could have won this at the end when it was 2-2. They had great chances. Pulisic ran through and put it wide, and Salamanca's on the break broke through, twisted, turned, and then was denied the law. Or did he put it wide actually? Because I remember Manuel made the save for Milan, and they came up. Yeah, he put it wide. He put it so. Yeah, so Pulisic and Salamanca's have blood on their hands there. That could have been a big 3 points away at Parma for Milan. So they've drawn. So again, it's tight at the top. But we've seen this numerous times in Serie A, and much later into the season, you get 4, sometimes even 5 in there, and there's only a couple of points separating them. But yeah, people will always bang on about Prem, and this is why Prem is the best in the world, because it be tight here and whatnot until somebody else wins the league. Me being Liverpool fan, I don't want it to be Arsenal, but until another team breaks what they've done, it still will remain since 2017 that it's only Liverpool and City that have won the league until somebody else comes through. Whereas in Italy in that time, Juventus have won it when Cristiano was there, Inter have won it, Milan have won it. You get what I'm saying? Napoli have won it. So
just the only team that hasn't won it is Pasta Borussia Dortmund, which is Atalanta, right? Yeah, man. Yeah,
and they've been Atalanta, smaller market club than those other teams there. Yeah, look at this guy's face, man. Don't try to chop up my team. You get what I'm saying? But we've been smaller market team and been breaking records all over the place. We will documented that season.
All I'm saying,
when they almost broke the goal scoring record. But let's get to Atalanta. That was a lovely segue.
That's crazy. That's crazy, isn't it? Yeah, it's a lovely segue into the almost team. The also runs. Is that what that's what it's called, right?
When I catch you.
Listen, bro, in Italy, put your trust in only one team that wears blue and black. Yeah, don't just the other one.
There is Zuka, but it's interesting because this is actually a focal point. That segue to a focal point of the pod. Atalanta was slapped at home 3-0 by Sassuolo. It was the Berardi show with 2 goals and an assist. And Juric was axed. I didn't know why they gave him the job in the first place, but we're basically talking in a year. This man was at Roma. He got the job at Roma at the start of last season and was axed in November. He then got the Southampton job. And then they say that he stepped down, but in my eyes, he was sacked. Whether or not they put it down as what's the terminology that they mutual? Did they say mutual agreement? I'm sure is the terminology they use or whatnot. Then he's got the job at Atalanta. He's considered to be a Gasperini disciple, which obviously you would have thought obviously played a huge factor in him getting the job with Gasperini going to Roma, who, as we've just said, are joint at the top of Inter at the moment, and he's been axed from Atalanta. So I didn't think he should have got the job in the first place. That's crazy. 3 jobs you're gone from in like literally exactly a year. Like, What's going on?
Can we just focus on that last point there? You got sacked by Southampton Football Club, and Atalanta thought it was a good idea to hire you.
After what they've been doing, that's mad, isn't it?
Okay, so 3 clubs and 3 seconds in the space of a year, and nothing to show for it. At this point, it doesn't matter. Why is Jean featuring The Rock? It doesn't matter. When wherever you go, you just pour. I don't know why they hired him in the first place. Just like you, I think we even said it on the pod. We were like, "What the hell is this?" We said it. What the hell is
Yeah,
this?
We said it when he got the job. We said
you could have been saying this from a mile away. what was it that The Rock said to John Cena? Stevie Wonder can see if your monkey ass. Yeah, you can all see it. You can all see it coming. Come on, man. Let's be serious, man. Let's be serious for a second. Come on.
Yeah, I don't know, but what next for him? Who hires him? Is it a case he might have to like get picked up like by some like an Asian club, like get picked up by someone in Saudi or picked up by the United the club in the United Arab Emirates? I don't know where next for him, but all I'm saying is that his agent is a G for being able to get him this work, because there's going to be some nice payoffs in there. He must be nice about
that. The money's nice, but money's in everything, man. This is your career. You're not doing a very good job at it. So honestly, genuinely, I mean this. I genuinely mean this. Isn't me cussing him out or anything. Take 2 years out. Sit out for a bit. Genuinely. 3 seconds in a year is insane. Maybe 2 years is too long for him. I know if you've got the passion to coach, you want to keep going and going. That's fun. And that's fair. But personally, if he was to come on this show and he asked us how long do you think I should just relax for, I said take 2 years out. Analyze teams. Rethink your structure of, how you set up your teams to play, your tactical approaches, all of that. You've gone to 2 very good Italian clubs and 1 English club that was going to struggle in the Premier League in a way, looking at how the quality of the squad is anyway.
Yeah.
But you had 2 clubs where you could have done a decent job in, and you got sacked in the space of a year. Yeah, it's okay, man. It's all right. Have a break. Have a Kit Kat.
So Palladino is the man at the helm now for Atalanta, and we'll see what he can do. But that team under Gasperini and Atalanta were the perfect fit. They were the perfect fit because the attacking football that they were playing with 3 at the back, they were breaking records all over the place a few years ago. And we were following it every week here on the pod. It was a case where they were trying to break the goal scoring. They almost broke the goal scoring record that stood, I think, from the late 50s, if I'm not mistaken, late 50s or in the 60s from Fiorentina and whatnot. And when you're losing a manager and a club and a set of players that are so cohesive, though there was some turbulence along the way, like Papu Gomez fell out with Gasperini. They spoke a lot of, obviously, Lookman trying to force his way out last season. Obviously, he's still trying to force his way out. He might be able to try and get himself a move in January. There's always going to be turbulence when you're replacing a man and a club that was so at one, though Gasperini could be a bit awkward at times. So we'll see what Padalino can do. But Juric, I'm just confused. But as I said, his agent, unbelievable in terms of the way that he's been able.
Okay, so here's your question now, and a question to anyone that's watching, listening, depending on where you are. Who has the better agent now, Juric or Julian Faubert? It's a question for you.
Well, when Faubert got that move to Real Madrid, yeah,
legendary. So that's a question. That's a poll. We can do that as a poll in the comments. See when they vote for. I can't lie. It's a tough battle. I can't lie to you. It's a tough battle.
Oh my days, one of them ones. But yeah, Juric, and salute, bro. Salute, bro. We say this, and probably he'll have a new job probably by the time before we even next record. That's how good his agent is.
It better not be in Europe, otherwise he's not going to like this podcast. I'll tell you that for
free. Right, let's go to La Liga. And Real Madrid slipped up, bro. It finished Vallecano 0, Real 0. Real had chances but couldn't get it done, and then Barcelona have closed the gap on them now because Barca won 4-2 away at Celta Vigo. But though Barca did win again, this high line has because on Carrera's goal for Celta as well, he looked like he'd taken too many touches and he had an eternity to be able to put that in. But they came through. Lewandowski hat trick, nice assist in there by Marcus Rashford on the second goal. But that his third goal, Barca's fourth, that header in off the post, that was a brilliant header from Lewandowski, man. But you still, I know obviously you're a Los Blancos guy as well. I am, but I don't shout it from the rooftops anymore. But then again, we beat them the other day, so I'm cool with them at the moment, actually. You know what I mean? But I asked my questions of Xabi Alonso earlier in the season. He replied back by winning manager of the month and told me to shut my mouth. But Madrid have actually not won a Vallecano coach for 4 seasons in a row now. If ever there was a bogey team for them.
I actually didn't know that. It's funny, we watched the leagues, but that didn't register with me. Probably is a bogey team, but look, sometimes Real Madrid are their own enemies. And I think I said in the last show when we spoke about your game with them, I have a real problem with Kylian Mbappe. I have a real problem with him because for someone who commands that he's the number 9 or the left winger, depending on where he's playing for club or country, he doesn't like making the runs off the ball to put himself in prime positions to score goals. And for someone who grew up in an era where strikers were strikers. Yeah. It wasn't inside forwards being the main goal scorers. It was your number 9s, with the inside forwards giving their pieces as well.
Making the chances for him.
Yeah, feeding the chances, but also adding their goals here and there as well. You know, your Youngbugs, your Gigs, your so on and so forth, Neves and so on. Like, you can't have that sort of I am the guy and just not do it. You have to set it by example, and that goes for all the best players. Messi was never a standstill player, but if he stood still, it's because he put himself in the space where he didn't need to move.
Yeah,
same as a Ronaldo, same as a Dino, same as anybody else, same as a Cristiano. So, you know, if you're going to be that guy for Real Madrid, you need to lead the line with conviction. Sometimes he has moments where I feel like I don't know, it's just irritating because the days where he's done that, notably. The one that really made me happy was the day when the World Cup final, when they played Argentina, where he pulled them back into the game. He was making the runs off the ball. And if he was standing still wanting the ball in the position, it's because he made the space for himself to receive the ball. He's not doing that, and I don't know why. And I don't think that's to do with balance. I think that's just to do with pure selfishness. I think he's become even more selfish than before. I don't like using the clip, but that clip of Luis Enrique getting at him, talking about, you know, hard work rate, what you need to do as a forward, pressing this, that, and the other. You're supreme. You'll score the goals, you know. But in that game on 2 weeks ago on the weekend, and obviously against Liverpool, I saw everything that I didn't like about him as a footballer, and it's irritating. So I wanted to pick up his ideas for the next game, but yeah, poor, very poor.
Right. So we spoke about Barca, and in regards to Barca, Yamal scored a good goal near post. In terms of their future plans, how long can Lewandowski go on for? We've just seen the hat trick, but how long can he go on for? Because there's been minor Harry Kane talk, your guy, about him basically filling a void for a couple of seasons. And then there's been a lot of talk even before Liverpool signed him that their future outlook would be to bring Isak back to Spain. Does their title charge, that's one part of the question, it's 2 sides. Does their title charge, and then the second side is, does their title charge, you know what, they've been doing okay without Rafinha in there. Will it still depend on how many goals they're going to get from the centre forwards? Especially when Rafinha's back, and then that gives them more of a supply line as well, if they're actually going to stop Madrid from winning this title or not.
I think it's a simple question. A simple answer, really. They got numbers. They got numbers going forward.
Rashford can play there, innit? Also,
Rashford can play, and when Rashford is on job, he gets a lot of goals. Lewandowski, I don't have to even talk about him. People hate to this day, but it is what it is. I say people, a person. Rafinha has goals. Yamal at his younger age has goals. As long as he's not having pubic injuries, less than that the better. So there's numbers. Look, they have no excuse for me. I'll be honest. They have no excuse. They can be linked with this guy and that guy in the future as well. But for me, they have no excuse. You have numbers upon numbers upon numbers of goals in your team. Score, win games. The same thing for Real Madrid. Same thing. Mbappe, Vinicius, Rodrigo, Bellingham, Arda Güler, Valverde. Who else can I add to that list? Am I forgetting somebody?
In terms of you wouldn't Tchouaméni, but he hasn't needed to. Has not. When he was at Monaco, he'd come out sometimes and bag a brace or whatever out of nowhere. But yeah, no, Madrid should have. Look, Garcia, who did a good job for them in the Club World Cup.
Yeah,
can't even really get any minutes at the moment. Endrick, it looks like he's going to be going out on loan to. Is it Lyon? I think it's Lyon that are trying up a loan for him in January because he wants to get some playing time in before the World Cup.
Okay.
But in terms of their future striker outlook, though, could you see that? Because Lever's 37 now.
Yeah.
I believe.
Yeah.
Do you think Kane would go there for a couple of years, or do you think when Kane does leave Bayern, he'd go back to?
I don't see why not. I don't see why not. If you're Harry Kane, Bayern or Barca is not a bad move. If you think about their forward lines and what they've got around him, and what he's doing for Bayern, being a lot more deeper, being able to create balls to score goals, I don't see what's a bad idea. I think it'd be a good idea personally, but yeah, I think if the transfer is doable, I'd say do it. At the same time, I will say this: outside of Harry Kane, Bayern Munich, if Barcelona still owe you flipping money for Lewandowski, tell them to do one, please.
This is what I was going to say. You hear this talk about Barca, and you think, yeah, that player would differ go Barca. Do you remember all the issues that they have money-wise and registration-wise and whatnot? Obviously, the new camp that is ready now, so obviously money is going to be brought in there, so that should be able to help them into that case there. But yeah, it's a funny one. You think immediately, yeah, Barca. Did you remember? Nah, it's not always what it seems. Registration issues. This one not being paid.
Genuinely, I need clubs to start acting like James St. Patrick or Tommy Egan when it comes to pay what you owe or you're done. Pay what you're done, man. Like don't come and play against that Felipe Lobos energy. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's be serious, man. Let's be serious for a second. Pay me my money. You know what I mean? Simon Stern. You know what I mean? Come on. You know what I mean? Heenan. You know what I mean?
Two homos.
There you go.
But anyway, I'll leave that there. I don't want to get us cancelled, bro.
Yeah, please.
I'm not even gonna lie. I've not bothered with Power since the Power books. I was so disappointed in the finish to the normal series that I'm not even bothered with it. Even though everyone tells me they're good, I'm not bothered with it.
I can't lie to you. You're missing out then. You're missing out. I think I was disappointed with how they ended it because I think it was quite obvious.
Yeah.
About Tariq. And then I will say I still don't think the ghost had to die. But the director obviously went down with that because obviously 50 Cent has explained that she didn't really like Amari Hardwick in the first place. So that's another conversation for another day. But yeah, get to watching that. And anyone that's listening, get to watching that if you haven't watched it as well. The Power books are good. But if you haven't watched Power, to watch Power first. It's on Netflix still, so watch that. Netflix, that's free promotion. You better start sponsoring Manda. That's free promotion.
Tell them again, bro.
Free promotion. Just bring some people to your thing and get more subscriptions. You guys bumping up the money as well. You think you're slick? Yeah, I clocked you. We ain't running them games around here. Your stupid. What's your stupid rule about? If you're not in the same household nonsense, get out of here, man. Now you're doing with ads. Anyway. Sponsor us. That's free promotion. Shout out Costello as well. NC Network. That's what you do. NC Network. Then all of us win on top. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, no. Honestly, with clubs, if Barca have done business with you and they still owe you money, I wouldn't deal with them again until they pay what they owe. I'm genuinely serious about that. I think that's horrendous business that they're allowed to continue doing business whilst they still owe so much money and they're so behind on payments. In life in general, if you're behind on payments with a company, with taxes or whatever, they take it to collections. And if you don't go through collections and put your money in time, then it goes to serious bailiff type level situations. I don't care that Barcelona is an institution. I don't care that they're a huge football club. I don't care that they've got legendary footballers and a legendary history. I don't care about all of that. Business is business. If you are a club and they owe you money, get your flipping money. Simple as that. And that counts for us as well at Man United. If Rashford wants to make a permanent deal there, they better pay the money. I don't want to hear in 5 years that they still owe Man United money for Marcus Rashford. What are we doing here? No way. So no. I wouldn't do business with them until they pay. 100%.
I hear you. Right, before we leave, we'll have a quick talk on the international stuff for a couple of minutes in a second. But before we leave it, because obviously we're working with a time limit every week that we do this now, we don't get to stop in on the French league as much as we used to. But just one game. Lyon and Paris Saint-Germain was a thriller. And Lyon had a man sent off in the 93rd minute, and João Neves 92nd minute. João Neves won the game for Paris Saint-Germain with basically the last kick in the 93rd minute of the game. So they're 2 points clear of Marseille at the top, Paris Saint-Germain. But João Neves is having himself quite a season, bro. Quite a season. And he was one. Obviously, we were in agreement that Vitinha, we wouldn't have been disappointed if he was able to win the Ballon d'Or. Obviously, PSG just lost to Bayern, but obviously in this longer, wider league table now, it's not even a group phase anymore. You can get by and still get through with a couple of defeats. Could someone like João Neves, we also that hat-trick of worldies a couple of months ago that he scored for them, could someone like him, if PSG were to, they could get to the final. Obviously, we know how big winning Champions League is, but if they were to win the league again, as we fully expect them to, regardless of Marseille doing, could someone like that put themselves in the frame for the Ballon d'Or? Him or Vitinha? We saw how Vitinha was in the one just gone. Or will it be dependent on strikers like we spoke about Kane earlier? If Bayern were to do it with the amount of goals he's banging in, he spoke recently, Kane. I don't know if you saw it, because I know obviously you're a fan, so you would have read it. He said, I could score 100 goals this season, but if England don't win the World Cup or Bayern don't win the Champions League, he doesn't expect to get.
No, he's right. He's right.
For the Ballon d'Or.
No, but he's right. He's right. Thing is, look, I stopped liking / loving the Ballon d'Or ever since the Ronaldo and Messi, wherever that was, when Messi won it how many times in a row, and then Ronaldo won it, and then Messi won again, then Ronaldo won the times in a row, and then
they skanked Lewandowski.
And then they skanked. That's when I had enough.
Obviously, there was the Modric win in there, but then they skanked Lewandowski by 2-1.
Yeah, but the Modric one they couldn't avoid because with Lewandowski they tried to use the excuse of lockdown. Football was still played. I know we missed a couple of months, but football came back. These guys were out there amidst the pandemic, and they were playing football, and he was still doing his thing. He should have won it, and they know he should have won it. That's the be all and end all of that. And when it comes to Ballon d'Or, but even before that, bro, like obviously, whatever the criteria was when it came to people that actually were able to make the votes.
Yeah.
Sometimes it'd feel like the guy who just had the best individual year because of the goals and the assists and everything. And then the other year, I feel like because he was part of a winning team, on top of having the goals and assists, but more so because he won the accolades. But then what is the criteria that these people that are allowed to vote, what are they voting for?
Exactly.
So when it comes to that, I was like, it's a political game. It's a political game, and that's why I mentioned it when I was in Messi era, even before Lewandowski, because we know both clubs were doing the political game to make sure their players stayed on top.
Yeah.
So, thing is, we wouldn't be mad if Ronaldo or Messi, depending on the year, won it because they both had exceptional years. They were that good all the time.
Yeah.
But when it came to maybe, I don't know, Real Madrid won the Champions League 3 years in a row, so Ronaldo won it. But then in one of those years, Messi was definitely a better individual than Ronaldo was in that year. But because he won the Champions League on top, Ronaldo won it anyway. So is it the accolades on top because you add to it? Okay, cool. Yeah. But then on the other side, Messi can have a slightly worse, if you want to call it worse, because of the numbers, than Ronaldo as the individual. But then he's won the Champions League, so we're just going to give it the Ballon d'Or for the best player of the year.
Yeah.
So if it's just for what that player has done, I'm all in. But it hasn't seemed like that for years.
Yeah.
Until I'd say until Modric and then until Dembele again. Because I still don't know why Messi won it the year after. Admittedly himself, he knows he wasn't a better year. I don't like to say it, but I think Van Dijk had a better year than him. So if Van Dijk won, I would have been like, it is what it is. Yeah. So, but for gender wise, Bundle will win it. So,
you pussy.
So,
Aki.
So, no, but look, I would love for him to win it one day because I think he's gonna be ultra consistent, and if he continues, everyone forgets how young he really is.
Yeah,
he could go down if he continues on that wavelength to be one of the best midfielders of all time. He is that good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not gonna call him a generational talent. My definition of generational talent comes many years down the line where you've proven a level of generational ability. So your R9s and all those guys that continued for years upon years, not 1 year at a young age, and then I'm like, oh, that's it. Yeah, you're generational. I want long-term success as a player, as an individual, before I call you generational. He could potentially be that, but he needs that level of consistency. But again, it's what you said just there at the beginning. Harry Kane said I can score 100 goals, but if I do not win the World Cup with England, or he does not win the Champions League with Bayern, he is not getting a look in. And that's as simple as it gets. I didn't argue Dembele's one. I think Dembele deserved it. But then you could take the point that people were talking about Salah, where Salah had a number of years where his numbers were ridiculous.
Yeah.
And he won Champions League.
Yep.
And they didn't get into him. Why? Because it's a political game. It's a political game. And as much as I like that they don't play the political game when it comes to the Ballon d'Or, English clubs need to do it a bit more.
Do you think with someone like Salah that it's a case that he uses his social media platform to shout, like he's spoken about Palestine, for instance? He's used his social media platform to speak out across numerous things. He even claps back at Liverpool fans as well. Not that would affect the Ballon d'Or, but I'm just talking in terms of what he does on social media, because they were cussing about how much Liverpool had upgraded in terms of what's around him, because they were saying he had new and whatnot, and then obviously having the likes of Isak and Ekatike now, you get what I'm saying? Yeah. So I don't know. Obviously, in terms of Liverpool fans, I won't be watching that. But in terms of speaking up against Palestine and whatnot, you have a player at your club at Manchester United that has spoken up about Palestine, and Bayern Munich took no time to shift in after, you get me, after that. Do you think that these things would play a part in the voting?
Yeah, I mean, it's a political game, so they will play a part, which is sad, because you should be able to have like your political views, and no one should ever base that on whether they think you're a better player or not than others in the year. But that's the game they play. But I think still to that point, regardless of his tweets or his Instagram posts or Instagram stories or whatever he wants to post on, clubs need to play the political game more from this nation. Am I correct? No, I'm right. Ronaldo was the last Premier League player to win the Ballon d'Or. Cristiano Ronaldo, 2008, right?
Yeah, it was, wasn't it?
Yeah, he was the last one to come from the Premier League to win the Ballon d'Or. Okay, cool. And United played the game they won the Champions League. We rejected the move to Real Madrid, and we were just vocal about Ronaldo. Everything was Cristiano. Because we were not going to allow the fact that we had someone do what he was doing, and you don't give him a Ballon d'Or. Are you crazy? Right? And English clubs need to do that more. They need to be vocal and be loud. If Man United ever get back to the top and they have a player that is having an absolutely ridiculous season, they are going to scream his name from the rooftops. I don't know why Liverpool don't do that enough. But then I know for outside looking in, I feel like Liverpool are so much of the idea of being so much of a family club that as long as they adore who they adore from the inside, they don't care what everybody else outside says. And that's great. I think that's lovely. But sometimes you need to let everyone outside know a lot more louder about how good someone is. And I think stuff like that, stuff like that doesn't help Van Dijk when he's trying to go for the Ballon d'Or against Modric. Because Real Madrid can come and you know what they'll do for Modric. They've done it in the past for so many players that have won Ballon d'Ors.
Yeah.
So if you're going to play the game properly. But with that said, I said agenda by Liverpool earlier, but I still think Modric was the right winner in my opinion because of what Madrid had achieved also with him. You know, so I wasn't mad at it at all, but I also understood why Van Dijk could have won it. But yeah, João Neves I think can win it one day. But if he's going to win it, unfortunately, hold on, okay. Unfortunately, one day he's going to have to win a treble, and on top of a hold on, Daddy's on the phone. On top of a treble, he's going to have to score about 15 to 20 goals before they start saying, yeah, he's the guy.
Yeah, it's crazy that it's crazy that look at all that we've gone through there, and then still there'll probably be something that comes up that alters the voting at the time anyway. And we've just spoke in depth there about what players have to do, and then it could just completely change or whatnot again. You get what I'm saying? Personally, myself, I think that they're kind of stuck with the fact that Cristiano Ronaldo is playing in the Saudi Arabian League at Al Nassr, and the fact Messi's played in the MLS. I think that they're stuck because don't get twisted. Dembele, with them winning the Champions League, Dembele deserved it.
Yeah.
But we can say numerous people. Dembele did deserve it. I'm not discounting that. But there are a couple of players at PSG in terms of what they did after losing to Arsenal in the league phase that were up. And we went through them, obviously. We went through Vitinha, we went through João Neves, etc. Kvitschko only came in January, so he you couldn't have put him into it, yeah? But Liverpool didn't win the Champions League, obviously, and obviously it was PSG that knocked them out. But some could say that when Salah was hot up until, let's say, January, February, and then cooled off dramatically, that was when, as soon as the new year hit and it hit January, then Dembele was hot when he wasn't early on in the season. So they were hot for the same amount of time each. But because obviously his team have gone on, their end game, they both won their league titles, but their end game, they won the Champions League, so he's got it. So
that's the point. That's the
point. A hot run could be, you get me?
But that's the point.
So doesn't that make it harder? But obviously Modric winning it, doesn't that make it a million times harder for a midfielder to be able to win it?
Because it does. That's what I'm saying. That's what the challenge is. But that's what you're up against. You ain't got a choice. Football has, from years back. I mean, look, we grew up in an era where we appreciated the defenders. We heard as much noise of Maldini, Stam, whoever else you want to mention, as much as you heard noise about like Vieira, Pirlo, whoever you want to mention, and then we heard as much noise about Shevchenko. I can go on and on and on. Inzaghi wouldn't even be put near your maybe like top 10 strikers of all time, because you've got like your Henrys and so on and so forth, and obviously R9 being the obvious one. But even he was given the accolades that he deserved, because that's what it was. But no matter what, it's always been a forwards game. Numbers and assists are what people care about. And in this era in particular, why people are so obsessed with numbers and statistics that sometimes performance almost doesn't really matter as long as you get the goals. That's what they're going to go for. Haaland's going to win the Ballon d'Or soon. Haaland will win the Ballon d'Or soon. His numbers are stupid.
If they win the Champions League without a shadow of a doubt.
Oh, he's winning it. Yeah.
Haaland's going to win it. You get what I'm saying? So yeah, man. But right. We're almost at our time limit, so we were going to cook some people in the
let's go. I got time to cook Nigerians. I'll say it in my chest.
Say no more. Just to go, it's the European pod. A quick word on the internationals.
Listen. I will say this. Yeah.
Sorry, Nigeria.
No matter where I am, no matter what time it is, even if I'm dying on my legs, I need to fall asleep. It might be my last words before I leave this earth. I will always have time to cuss out the Nigerian Football Club. Big up the NFF for their corruption. Big up it won't be for being a no-show. Big up Osimhen for getting injured. It's obviously recover for your club, but not for your country. Yeah, man. And big up their manager as well for Rudy Street shouts. Yeah, man.
My days, yeah. I
always have time, man.
Big up Congo. But the joke is obviously you can celebrate because you're a step closer. But Congo now go into a playoff, so they could still not make it.
Which is a nonsense, by the way.
Look how big the tournament is, and still you've got to go through this they've expanded the tournament, you've still got to go through all this to be able to get there. I
agree. But look at it, it's a nonsense. Look, you're in a situation where the African team that has grinded to get there might not even make it. So what was the point? That win against Cameroon and then against Nigeria for Congo is huge. So why are they not in the World Cup? Why do they have to go for another intercontinental qualifier? It's nonsense.
It's ridiculous. Then, on the other hand, to close as well, Jamaica failed to beat Curacao. So therefore, Curacao have qualified. But the thing is that this fallout in regards to Jamaica's case, right, is a strange one because Jamaica were not out completely. They go into this playoff that we're talking about. So I'm a little bemused, coach, as to why Steve McClaren's resigned when you still could get them to the World Cup.
I think that's him admitting that I don't think he has faith in the squad to make it.
Yeah, true.
I think that's what it is. I think that's as simple as it gets. I think he's assessed it, and I don't think he has faith that these guys can do it. And I think dropping points at home on the final day against Curacao, credit to them. They made it. They grinded hard. They deserve to be where they are. But Jamaica were the favourites. And I think he's assessing and being like, if we're not able to qualify with this squad immediately in this group, which they should have walked, if we're being honest.
Yeah.
Then, yeah. So I don't blame. Not that I don't blame him. I'm disappointed in his reign, but I'm not surprised. So, yeah. But I think let's be honest, man. He went there for a good time. Yeah, he went there for a good time. Also, actually, that's another thing. Actually, we don't ridicule that enough. Why Jamaica not making it to the World Cup first round out of all those teams? You should have gone to Clay a long time ago. I got time for Nigerians, but I got time for Jamaicans as well. you man to be out of the road shouting af because Africans are loud and all that. So you say, oh yeah, bear af, yeah. After going to the World Cup, you're still trying.
Bro, as I said, if it wasn't a year ago, maybe no more than 18 months ago, there was a pod. I think Robs was on there. I can't remember what the pod's called though, and they were saying on there that Jamaica could. I think you were saying Jamaica could win AFCON or something like that. And I was thinking, like, even being a Ghanaian, I'll put our case up, even though they annoy me sometimes. But Senegal and Ivory Coast, I don't think that Jamaica would be beating them.
Listen. Jamaica would have to get Mason G 10 years younger Mikel Antonio. Call back Ricardo Fuller. Play Usain Bolt up top and just play long through balls. And take the DNA of JJ Okocha, reincarnate him, and call him JJ something else, and make him Jamaican before they can ever get close to winning the AFCON. And that's not me trying to be very disrespectful to them. That's me being honest. Your squad is not that good. I'm sorry to just say. I'm just going to say call a spade a spade. Your team is not that good. And that's showing itself. So if you think you're good enough to win an AFCON, then you know what? One day we'll invite you. But since we're in the World Cup, let's mute myself. Since we're in the World Cup and you're still trying, if you don't make it, you know what? 2026 not even Carnival, it's ours. It ain't yours. Yeah, hold that.
Right. And we'll leave it there for episode 7 because we wrapped up the European stuff with some international stuff. So, Double D, I'm out of another Europod here on the NC Network. Thank you very much for listening. And Coach in the crash.
Yeah, Coach Joe, I'm out. And big up Scott McTominay, man. And Trey Parrott.
Yes, big up Scotland, big up Ireland. Scotland have gone through automatically. Ireland are in the playoff, aren't they?
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. But Troy Pratt with the hat-trick against Hungary, and McTominay bullied over and kicked for Scotland's first, and shout out McLean as well to seal it. And shout out Kieran Tierney, because effectively it was Tierney's goal that put them 3-2 up before Ethan McLean's goal. So yes, I hold tight Scotland. But yeah, this has been your European and international podcast. We're out, people. Yeah.